Oh, there's one more thing I want to talk about before we jump into academics. I'm sorry. We have to talk about the Blog Era podcast. Now, I didn't even send this to y'all, and I forgot to add it to the notes.
I've seen it on Twitter though.
You've seen it on Twitter. They're taking over Twitter. They're not taking over Twitter, but they're pretty heavy on Twitter.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy.
I've
Blog
been posting
Era
a lot of
podcast?
shit.
Yeah.
I know I'm hitting the retweet button a lot on Twitter.
Word.
So the Blog Era podcast is
Never heard of these
a
niggas.
podcast series by ItsTheReal and Othertone. Othertone is that thing that Pharrell has with Apple Music.
Yeah.
Where he has his little own line of, I guess it's like a media network or something like that. Not
Bless you. Talking about Pharrell?
with Pharrell, yeah, because it's not just. I remember Pharrell was doing interviews. Like I watched Othertone with like Pharrell was interviewing Soulja Boy. Like Pharrell will be there and do interviews too, but then it's not always Pharrell there.
That shit.
Yes, yeah.
With what's that producer's name, yo? Kenny Beats. Shout out Kenny Beats.
Oh yeah, I
He's
fuck
on
with Kenny.
this?
I fuck with Kenny Beats. I don't think that's him though.
but I saw a picture of
You
him.
s- okay,
But
okay.
I remember seeing all of this shit.
Yeah,
Kenny
so
right here.
Othertone.
Yeah,
Othertone, and I guess that's the part. I'm not 100% sure what that it is there, but long story short, Othertone is It's the Real came from, and they started this thing called the Blog Era podcast. And the first 3 episodes came out this past week, and this is supposed to be a podcast dedicated to the blog era of hip hop, which is no questions asked my favorite era of hip hop. Like that's the era I feel like shaped who I was as a person type shit. You know what I mean? Like an old school nigga, it would be the golden era. For me, it's the blog era.
And what year was this?
This would be early 2010s.
Yeah, like
like Wiz Khalifa.
09 on.
This was Wiz Khalifa.
Oh,
Yeah.
Currency,
Big
Currency.
Taylor
Crit,
Gang.
Currency, Taylor Gang. This was the era that shaped me. You know what I'm saying? Wale, all that.
Chance.
Yep,
All
yeah.
them niggas, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So this is like my favorite era, the Dom Kennedy era, the Nipsey Hussle era. So I'm
was just
excited as
listening,
shit, right? I'm seeing them on Twitter. And I'm like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? I'm having a nerd moment, like, oh my God, holy shit. Somebody, because I've always thought about making a documentary about the blog era. And I have to do it now that these niggas fucked it up, in my opinion. So I hated this podcast. I hated it.
How
and I'm
long
sorry.
was it?
Huh?
How long was it?
There were 3 episodes, all an hour each, and I watched all of them. And obviously I know y'all guys, there's a couple things, and I'm gonna talk to y'all about this too, because it's just like there's a couple reasons why I didn't like it. Number one, we come from a podcast generation where we're not used to the podcast. Our podcast that we started listening to, they don't come in seasons, right?
Yeah, none of that serialized shit like Dave Chappelle was doing
Right.
with
Like
Mos
we
Def.
don't listen to podcast seasons that have these high production
Whoa.
That's not
music
what it's
behind.
about.
That's not what it's about. It's just like I have a thing about that. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like that's one of those things that Joe Budden is all about too, where he's like, I'm keeping my podcast what podcasts are supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like
1,000 episodes.
yeah, 1,000 episodes, not a bunch of advertisement. It's cool to have advertisements in there.
Get your money.
But get your money, but like don't just like throw a pamper and like a pre-recorded one that came from Kellogg's type shit. You know what I mean? You read the advertisement if this is your advertisement. You know what I'm saying? Like we want to hear your twist on it, not this inserted thing. So maybe that's another thing that I hated. So number one, we're talking about this is a well-produced. This is one of those type season podcasts. Overproduced.
Too much seasoning.
Too much shit, bro. I hated that shit. So I'm already turned off. Like just from the sonics of it, you know, it's fucking with my head because I'm like,
pussy don't even
why the
smell
fuck do
right.
you have these beats playing? Then it's pissing me off at the songs that you do play. Like, stop playing Jay-Z. Stop playing Jay-Z.
Like at least play
At
the
least
type
play
of
some dope blog era shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
you got me fucked up. I don't want to hear the Hard Not Life beat. You know what I'm saying? Why are you doing this shit? Like, it just pissed me off. And as mind you, I love the blog era so much. It just infuriates a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
when
like somebody draws an ugly picture of your wife.
bruh, it's just like it's deep connection. It's in here, so like my critique hurts. It just like it pisses me the fuck off so much. So that's number one. Then number two, every episode, okay, what the fuck are y'all doing? Okay, if y'all are gonna do it in seasons, the first episode was about Joe Budden. They had a Joe Budden interview, and all of these interviews, every episode, you probably heard from 20 to 30 different people. that was already way too fucking much.
Yeah.
All of them were phoned in or Skyped in.
Yeah,
like
too
you
much.
just wanted to hear 3 niggas in a room. Like just like
Did
yo.
it
It's the classic. It's the
No.
classic.
Was it seamless at least? Was
Hell
it
no,
just-
bro. That was another thing that pissed me off. It's like, if you tell me this is the Joe Budden thing, I know what Joe Budden, and at first I was thinking, Joe Budden, why are we going to Joe Budden on episode 1? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then I was like, to be fair, Joe Budden was one of those, he was the early adopters of the camera, the blog. You know what? Joe Budden actually might be the first. He might be the best
And
person.
they might can spin that in a way that's like, okay,
and to
like
spin that into him
yeah.
kind of shaping and teaching us what the blog era people did. You
You're
know what
trying
I'm
to
saying?
help them.
I'm trying to
yeah.
figure out all these different angles of how did we get here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I hear Joe Budden is the first episode. At first I'm like, why the fuck is he there? Then I'm like, you know what? I can see them spinning this. They don't spin it the way that they should have spinned it at all.
Yeah.
Joe Budden has 4 audio bites throughout the entire episode. Why the fuck do I want to hear from Marissa Mendez and all these other random ass people? Mind you, I fuck with Marissa Mendez, but it's like
Not
I don't
that
wanna,
much.
Man, not that much. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking Joe Budden. Move out the way. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Why do we have to hear all these fucking people? I don't want to hear that. They gave us on episode 1 the Joe Budden come up story. Who gives a fuck about the Joe Budden
Yeah.
come up story on the Blog Era podcast?
It
That
can't
makes
be
no
that
sense.
interesting.
That makes
It
no
can't be.
fucking sense. Fuck
Did
his
they-
come up.
Yeah.
Talk about him specifically using the internet to push his music. That's all I care about. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about him doing mixtapes in the street. I want to hear how he used the internet to push the mixtape. You know what I mean? Like they had the nerve to tell us the origin story of this nigga.
This might have been their first documentary they've ever made.
Possibly.
We can't be,
What I was gonna say.
because it's very hard to make a documentary.
It is.
Like we
And
made
this is a podcast season
I
documentary.
mean, you
Yeah.
can start off by staying focused. That's
Right.
probably where you would start.
yeah.
And I mean, the focus was all over the place, bro. When you're listening to the episode, they would say, and we've got Joe Budden himself on there. What's going on, Joe? Hey, what's going on, fellas? Yeah, I mean, so we appreciate you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so, and then it'd be over. Then it would cut to another. They were jumping all over the place, bro.
They were just like
They were just throwing so much shit in there that didn't
they
matter.
they was flexing their muscle, kind of like, yeah, we can talk to Joe, we can
See,
talk to T.
and
That's
that's
honestly
the
how it
problem
felt.
is.
That's how it felt. It felt
Yeah.
like they were more concerned with packing in all these people.
Like a
Yeah.
DJ Khaled album. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a
I
compilation mix.
I
Yeah.
hated that shit.
And that's what the problem is with podcasting is that it's so accessible. Like niggas think that just because I can get this motherfucker to come talk to me means that I should be the one to talk to him.
Right. And it's the
You
real.
gotta be a media person.
Can you
gotta
look
be a
up It's
media
the
person.
Real?
You gotta be a journalist. Like you
Yeah.
gotta know what. That's exactly why I went this way. Pharrell been making beats his whole life. How many interviews does this nigga have?
Right.
Yeah, well, it depends
Talking about
though,
It's the
because
Real?
yeah,
Wait, who are you talking about?
he was talking about
Me?
Pharrell and like why
Oh,
that
you
shit
talking about
ended.
Pharrell
He was talking about
doing
why
those-
that shit ended.
Oh, my bad, my
And
bad. I
but
lost
he
you
also
for a
has a
second.
skincare line, and I think that shit is doing.
But you know what's
he
crazy?
does,
You know
yeah.
what I noticed when they put up that thumbnail with all 4 of them niggas together? He was the only
You
one
want to see
glistening.
images?
No, I just want to see their bio because they're the ones that are responsible for this fuck
I
up.
remember It's the Real.
And I remember
They
their
went on Brilliant
shows.
Idiots one time.
Yeah, they have. So It's the Real, the respected storytellers in music.
White guys.
I'm about to say the
zoom in
white.
just a little bit, yeah.
2
Brothers
Jews and 2 black dudes.
Eric
Review
and
the
Jeff
movies.
Rosenthal, better known as It's the Real, are not the women's TV talk show. What?
The most respected television story.
Oh, because there is the It's the Real TV show. That's right. I forgot. I'm like, why the fuck did they add that part in there? But there's the women's talk show. That's right. The most respected storytellers in music. It's the Real. Their chart-topping interview with The Waste of Time. Their hilarious series with The Locks. 2 Jews and 2 black dudes review the movies. Their sold-out shows in NYC, London, Los Angeles, Austin, and Philadelphia, and their dynamic work in the music, TV, and books. Working throughout 2020 and 2021 on some major projects. It's the Real. Is excited to make announcements very soon, which I'm assuming is this blog era thing. Now, what did they produce that gave them these high accolades? Because if I'm judging them strictly based off of this right now, even though I know they've been around for a while, I've listened to podcasts with them, such as The Brilliant Idiots, but I'm trying to figure out, I don't know, it just really
Like, where
irritated
does
the-
all of their
Yeah, how did they become the best storytellers in hip hop?
how do you become
Who
this
gave them
mystical? Yeah, like how do you get on this mystical
gave them
level?
that?
Because
You
I
know?
don't like their website is cool. It's a neat website.
Yeah,
like
but
it
who
looks
gave them these
professional.
accolades?
It's a great format.
I don't
Nigga,
like this shit, dog.
But that's what I'm saying. Like once you interview one nigga, you can literally say whatever you want.
Best Rick Ross interview. Best Jeezy interview.
Oh, so they just gave themselves the title?
That's just their. This is
their
self-acclaimed.
Yeah.
AJ. They wrote this themselves.
That's what I'm saying. It's their website.
Yeah, nigga.
Oh, that's right.
Nigga said, who gave them this?
I was about to say, because I don't care. Like,
it is a pretty early Nipsey Hussle interview.
And it's, I mean, they were like,
And they're interviewing the people from this era.
they are, but it's like, how do you drop the ball on this documentary? This shit, I hated it, bro. And I'm so sorry, y'all. And I'm sure y'all have done a lot of things that I wish I could do, and I respect y'all work that y'all have put into the game.
you don't have to say all that. What they did was
y'all-
fucking terrible.
Y'all fucked this
Don't-
shit up, bro.
yeah.
You fucked it up. Yeah,
did
thank you.
bad.
Thank you.
You don't
'Cause I
gotta
was-
say that.
fuck
We
that
can't
shit.
be doing that every time.
We
Like
can't,
we
bro.
give
Y'all fucked this shit
we
up,
give
bro.
love,
And it
but
really
that shit was
irritates.
ass.
It really, y'all fucked me. Y'all got me fucked up. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? By the way that y'all treated the blog era. How dare you?
Shame
let me
on you.
let me give you some suggestions. If you were gonna do the
Well,
blog era,
don't give them suggestions because you might do it.
you're right.
Nah, this
But
is
they could have did it better.
No, I'm gonna still tell them because even if
I like how he deflated.
no,
He was
I
like,
can still do it because it's
Yeah,
like
shit.
you, whether you listen to this or not, I feel like I can still do a better job than y'all. If you want to put this into seasons, season 1 just needs to be focused on the blog websites that we
Yeah.
got this music from, right? That's all. You need to set the foundation of the blog era. In season 1, you need to establish what the music industry has become, the transition between
At that time.
at that time period,
Yeah.
the transition between physical sales to digital.
Because it was a whole debacle.
So and that's why
screaming.
that's how we even got to this point. So
Like,
that
yeah.
foundation needs to be set. Fuck a Joe Budden on episode 1. What the fuck are we talking
Like,
Why
about?
are we
they
talking
even-
about this nigga smoking dust in
Did
the
they
90s?
like did they bring up any history like the fact that
They were
the big
bring-
media companies made a deal with Apple
They
to
were
make
a
all
little
music
bit, but it's
99
like
cents?
they weren't focused enough on it.
Yeah,
It's like
okay.
I only want, and because of the way that the blog era was, I'm okay with hearing about a nigga that I've never heard who was on the inside of the music industry talking for 30 minutes about the transition between digital to streaming. Like, I don't care if I know this nigga or not. If he knows the information, put him on the camera and on the microphone, because I'll listen to him for 30 minutes to an hour just hearing what it sounds like from the record producer side or the digital side, the fiasco that they were going to. You need to set the foundation from physical to digital in season 1. And then in season 1, you also need to set the foundation for just the blog sites that we went to. The Nah Rights, the Herfections, the Ill Roots, all the sites. There was a bunch of other ones, but you know, the big ones, of
Two
course.
Dope Boys.
My bad. Two Dope
Two
Boys.
Dope
Yeah,
Boys,
so
yeah, all those.
that's the foundation you need to set
Fader.
in season 1, right? That's it. That's all you need to do. That's all you have to focus on. Why the fuck do we need to hear from any artist in season 1? Set us the foundation. This is if you want to do it in seasons. Then set it in foundations. Now from season 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you can just give us all interviews from people who came out of the blog era. That's it. And that can go for 100 seasons because there were so many artists that came out of that.
Yeah.
You can take that for the longest. You might even be able to set a foundation for fucking 2 seasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might be just off the amount of websites, because when you look at the websites, you also got to think about the writers that were involved in there. Because during that time period, you would get on a blog site in order to get posted on a lot of these sites. Outside of being cool with the person who started Not Right website, he also had people writing articles on his thing. So you would look at who wrote each article on the website, follow them on Twitter, and try to finesse your music to them on Twitter so that they can finesse it onto the website. So it's like, now you can spend 2 to 3 seasons just breaking down each website and their biggest writers from each website. Y'all niggas fucked it up, bro. I don't know what y'all thought y'all were doing. And then at the end of the episode 1, that's when y'all finally decide to bring in the Nah Right person. Y'all did give him the grand introduction that he decided that he needs to get. But on episode 2, Top 8 Dead or Alive, y'all fucked it up. I didn't even get to hear enough from this nigga. I don't give a like. Shit, what the fuck were y'all doing? I don't understand what y'all were thinking. Y'all were so busy packing all these fucking high profile names. I don't want to hear from Just Blaze. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck about Just Blaze in the Blog Era podcast. I don't. It's just like so many people y'all had in there that who gives a fuck about these people, bro? Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, bro, that shit had me pissed, dog. I'm still mad about this shit now.
Was there a lot of people angry also? Like, you know,
I don't know, but I put on because
she was upset though.
I've been tweeting them You know what I'm saying? And I'm straight up I watched the first 3 episodes of the Blog Air Podcast, and I am highly disappointed. This shit fucking sucks.
You should have been like, yo,
because before then, they were retweeting my tweets and shit. Like,
They were showing love.
Yeah, they were showing love. They didn't retweet that shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna block me and I'm gonna clip this out and I'm gonna put that shit in there. I'm gonna put it on Twitter too, because y'all gonna realize y'all fucked it up, bro. I only want to hear from certain people, and it's just Blaze is not one of those niggas, bro.
It is weird. What?
Netflix got to cut you a check for 13 episodes.
Bro,
40 minutes or an hour a piece.
Literally.
There's no reason that your Twitter profile is more lit than your fucking podcast. There's no reason for that.
I just want to know what the fuck happened to Fly You. I just want to know what happened
There's so many people, bro. It's like,
know what
I love the Twitter page so much.
Well,
I started posting
Div.
mixtapes that I can't find the links for no more.
Yeah, man.
And they're reposting it. I'm like, hey, can somebody help me find the link to this mixtape? Because I can't find it no more. They reposting it. Niggas is hitting me like, man, I've been looking for that too, man. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. You know?
It's a fucking community.
Right.
It's like when you watching porn and you don't know the porn star name and you go in the
put in the
comments.
comments.
It's like, yo, I know somebody know this bitch.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's just like that. So it's like, I'm getting more value out of y'all Twitter page when I should be getting all the value out of your podcast. Then what also pissed me off was that episode 1, it's like they had pre-production shit in there they forgot to take out. The nigga is on there like,
Word?
Oh my God, it was disgusting, bro. It was disgusting how bad it was.
You heard, like, they didn't even have, like, the little windbreaker over the mic. Like,
it
their
wasn't even
P's
that.
was hard as shit, huh?
It was more like this. It was more like,
like
if Lauren was back there was like,
Wet ass
Tone,
P.
let me get a sound check. AJ sound check. Jay sound check. It's like what?
you heard this.
Yeah, literally.
Mix of that shit.
And it happened like twice in the episode where they were like, it sounded like they were reading a code to test something, and they were like, something 4678 Delta. I was like, what the fuck are we listening to
like,
right
what you-
now?
Relevant information.
So was it a podcast or an audio documentary? It's almost like they
It
couldn't
was not a
decide
podcast. Yeah.
like what they wanted it to be.
Right,
Because that's
yeah.
some podcast shit. Like, it's okay for you to hear,
And that's
action.
it's
It's a podcast. Fuck it.
Right.
But if this is a documentary that's only audio,
Yeah.
you got to
It's
come
an audio
correct.
documentary,
Yeah,
and
it was
we
an
live
audio
in an
documentary.
era of just everything is podcast, it's audio.
Yeah.
And they probably put it out on different podcast streaming platforms.
Of course.
So it looks like a podcast. I think that's exactly what this is.
And then I saw
Word.
they charted in like the top 3 when it came out.
And I
With
feel
the
like it's
charting thing.
easy as fuck to chart, but
Low-key,
that might be a
low-key.
whole nother conversation.
Nah, low key, if you have a
Because-
nice little buzz,
bro,
it seems
because-
like it's pretty easy to get up there.
To be honest, I've never heard of these niggas. Like, they look familiar,
Yeah.
but that's the only reason I could even think that they have this fan base that, like, almost like Nardward. Like, they've been in the game. If you know, you know, but if you don't,
On some New York City shit.
Yeah,
You
and
can't
then-
even compare him to Nardwar. though.
Nah,
Like,
yeah,
you feel me?
yeah,
Like, that's
yeah,
a little
I can't
do that.
blasphemous.
but
I think they could be
respect to
compared.
these brothers. But I mean, if
Y'all
AJ
fucked up.
says, you know, the
I mean,
documentary
apparently
is
you can
fucking-
pay these niggas to Rory and Morgan. This is a bare minimum feature.
Yeah, I hated what y'all did. And it was,
Warrior Mall not
I've never
creating
seen,
no
I never watched true crime. Like, I never listened to true crime podcasts.
Okay.
But it gave me the feeling like, is this
But
some true crime bitch shit?
Like
Like,
some
what the
fictional.
Because you've
Yeah, like-
heard of like the crime.
I have heard the crime, and I understand there's podcasts with the whole series, the seasons and shit.
It's a
under-
fucking audio
I get
book.
it.
Yeah.
You know, I get the whole.
Literally.
I get the whole. You're shaping season 1, season 2. I get all
Yeah.
that.
That
but
makes sense, but you got a story, it's a plot, it's
Yeah,
This
not
leads
on
to the
this.
next
Your
episode.
storytelling was shitty. You know what I'm saying? Your fucking structure was terrible. The music selection was shit. It's
And
like,
then,
how dare you play the Hard Knock Life instrumental on a fucking? Then they were playing Western. It was supposed to like create like this, you know, just like this ambient
A
of like
vibe,
the
but it
vibe.
wasn't-
But
they're
fuck
trying to
no,
set the
nigga.
feng shui.
No, nigga. Like play last time that I checked. How about that? You
They
know what I'm
needed to
saying?
open
Like,
up with like Wiz Khalifa. Like,
yeah,
literally,
like I need to hear.
Black
I need
and
to
yellow.
hear. You know what I'm saying?
Summertime in that cutlass. You
What
know
the
what I'm
fuck are we
saying?
talking about? You know what I'm saying? Where's Grinding by Nipsey Hussle?
Yeah.
Where's Pac Div Mayor?
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
Mayor, yeah, for
Where's
sure.
Theopolis London's hits? You know what I'm saying? What are we
Lupe
talking about?
Fiasco.
What are we talking about? Fuck these instrumentals you got. I don't want to hear from no golden era rapper.
Benny,
I
Yeah.
only want
now,
to
baby.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Damo
Like,
Genesis, that was around that area.
For sure.
Yeah.
Damo
Yeah.
Genesis.
He just
Casey
dropped the album. Shit's
Veggies,
crazy.
You know, Mickey Fax. You know what I'm saying? It's
Casey
like,
Veg is wow.
yeah, it's like these are the
Vince
only
Staples.
these are the only instrumental.
Would you consider Joey Badass in it?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, back end of it. Back end of it was still part of it.
It's like
sure.
he
Right
missed
when he dropped Waves and shit.
Waves was that blog era shit. Yeah,
1999.
Yeah, 1999 and stuff like that. So
Joey badass, man.
I hate what y'all did to that.
I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna listen to it.
This nigga, you made
Especially
AJ makes it sound like you'd rather watch academic stomach herpes.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. I've been watching it all day.
Yeah.
Back here.
Pause.
Pause.
Fast forward.
But transitioning over to academics, because that's really all I had to say. I just really had to let that out because y'all pissed me the fuck off. But